G'day Year 11, thanks again to listening to these YouTube clips. Now we're looking at managing change effectively. And just to summarise from the last lesson, which was again managing change effectively, we took a look at identifying the need for change, seeing the trends, the patterns, and why we might need to change, making use of business or management information systems such as MYOB to be able to identify that need for change. And then we also took a look at setting achievable goals, goals that businesses could follow. This lesson we take a look still at managing change effectively, how to make sure any change that you do as a business is done well and is done effectively. And change is a necessary evil. It must be done. We have two syllabus dot points, two things we're going to talk about today that are both important in making that change happen and happen well. The first one is to look at this concept of resistance to change. Why might people be resistant to change? Which is not really a strategy, but it is, because you can identify why people need to resist change, and then you can overcome those problems or attempt to overcome those problems. We're also going to take a look at this concept of a management consultant, what they are, what they do, and some of the strategies that they put in place to again help bring about change, to manage things being done differently in a business to improve things. And remember, Qantas is a case study. If they didn't, so 10 years ago, start on this process of change, then they probably would not be around today. Some would argue that it wasn't done perfectly, but it was a necessary thing. The changes need to occur, or we would not have Qantas there, just like what happened with Ansett. Okay, so the first way in which we can manage change is to look at this resistance to change. What resist means why people don't want to do something, or what things are stopping things from happening. I have my massive guns that are here, and it is resisting being able to be moved. Why is it not being able to be moved? Why don't people want to bring about change? And in terms of two main elements of these resistance to change, we have this driving force and this restraining force, something stopping it from occurring. In any organisation, there's lots of people, the managers, the workers, who are driving, are pushing forward, wanting change to occur. So why doesn't it happen? It doesn't happen easily because there's the opposite, something that's wanting to stop the change from occurring. They're called restraining forces. They're restraining it. Like a seatbelt restrains you from going out the window if you have an accident. Okay, so something that's trying to stop a business from bringing about these changes. Okay, in terms of the most common reasons why people resist change and don't want change to occur, there's a few reasons why people don't want it to occur. If you've got a good manager, often they want it to happen. They can lead workers, explain to them why change is good. But on the flip side, poor management often means that workers don't want to bring about change. They don't trust their managers, their workers. Another thing is fear of job loss. People really like safety. They have this concept of inertia, and they worry that if change happens, their job will be on the line. They've got families to look after, wives that want to spend a fortune on things, and they need to make sure that they've got, or husbands, that they've got a job that's there. Disruption to routine is another reason. People like doing things the same way. Again, this concept of inertia. They don't want their routine to be interrupted, to change in some way, even if in the long term it's better. Sometimes workers also are resistant to change because they're not given enough time. They might want change to happen. They might like the concepts, but it's all going to be done too soon, and they don't feel comfortable with that. Another factor is the cost. And this is often at a managerial level, but change requires cost. Things aren't free. So that's another of these restraining factors. All these things are, roadblocks, restraining factors, reasons why we don't bring about change, that people don't want change to occur. Now you might ask, and reasonably so, how is this a strategy? Because we're looking at how to overcome this inertia, this reason for not changing. If you're an effective manager, you can identify all these reasons why change shouldn't happen in your workers, why people are worried about change happening. and one at a time. Make sure that your staff feel comfortable. Explain to them there's short-term pain for long-term gain in terms of financial costs. And if you can do that effectively, then it can be a very powerful strategy to be able to use to bring about change, to turn those restraining forces into driving forces. Now, in terms of the last part of managing change effectively, it's this concept of management consultants. A consultant, some people argue, is somebody who just gets paid a lot of money to do not much, but a management consultant is someone who's brought into the business, into the company, to assist with change. Okay, now there are a variety of reasons as to what the management consultants can do and what skills they bring. Some of the skills that they bring is a wide range of business experience. They have an objective external viewpoint from outside the business. They're aware often of industry best practice and how to apply it to your business. And they've often got access to the latest research. Now, some of the effective strategies that management consultants use to bring about this change in a business is to undertake change readiness reviews. That means to be able to see what part of the business are happy for change, what part isn't, and help the resisting part of the business to overcome their fears. They can help management consultants create a supportive business culture. They try and get all stakeholders, people who've got an interest in their business, involved in the process so people don't feel alienated, left out. Okay? All of these things, these mechanisms, from identifying change where change needs to occur, from using the business information systems, from setting achievable goals, through to identifying these restraining or the resistance to change, and the final one, management consultants. They're all the effective ways to bring about change in a business and in an organisation. Okay,